Craig, you are an expert on this topic. So, Craig, Sony has shut down Firewalk Studios, the developers for Concord.
Yeah.
After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. What do you think about this, Craig? Are you upset?
Well, what's amazing about this is that they looked at Concord after 8 years of development, hundreds of millions of dollars of development time, a huge development cycle, all the talent in there, looked at the game they released and said, we can't save this. Not even if we go free to play.
That's what's shocking to me, because I thought they were going to go free to play.
Yeah.
That was probably the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought they were.
But the brand was damaged so much. Remember, this was supposed to be the Star Wars. This is Sony Star Wars. That's their words, not mine. This was supposed to be their next big IP, and it got shuttered in 10 days. And once again, the idea, everybody thought it was going to be, well, they're going to go free to play. They're going to go free. That's great. But the idea that they looked at it, saw no potential opportunity to create any sort of monetization structure, either through a season pass or whatever, microtransactions. That's the most shocking thing when it comes to this. Shutting down an entire studio, just saying, well, you guys, see you later. Thanks for everything. And I'm sure they did a little restructuring along the way. But we've talked about this extensively, the idea of the biggest failure in video game history. With this today, 100%, Concord is the biggest failure in video game history.
Biggest failure
100%.
of all time. And there was a lot of speculation this would go free to play. Not going to happen. They're just confirming everything that everyone was saying about this. 8 years of development, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they can't figure out a way to salvage it. How the fuck do you work on something for 8 years? How long did it last before they killed it publicly? It released, and what did it get? 10 days, 15 days? 10 days, 8 days? Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah, well, I think it's worse. It's not just simply that they couldn't see a way to like make money off of it. I think it was more of they would have lost money to continue it on.
Right.
So it's less about trying to bring that money in. It's like, okay, yeah, we got to pay for servers. We got to pay for development and all that. We're going to actively lose money by keeping this thing open. So it's better for us financially to just say, fuck it and cut our losses. So that's pretty, that's pretty like substantial, but it goes to show that like what's going on in the video game industry, and maybe it's not exclusive to video games right now, but these guys have no idea what the fuck that they're doing, because nobody, I mean, I know this is worked on for fucking damn near a decade, right? And you mean to tell me that there's no leadership, there's no person with a voice, nobody that can at least say, guys, just the general structure of this game, the unappealing characters, none of this shit's gonna work. So either there was nobody in power that could say that, right? And maybe they were just or they were holding their tongue, or they're just retarded. I lean towards the latter. I know we love to give people too much credit, and everything's 4D chess game and Black Rock is fun and all this. I just think they're fucking retards. I think that's really what this amounts to. That these guys are fucking stupid. And if you actually have conversations with, especially leftists, like just general, like legit, staunch leftists. I mean, I hate to use the term SJW because people like thinking that we overuse it, but we're speaking about people that cannot detach themselves and their personal politics, social beliefs from anything that they do professionally. These guys are fucking stupid, right? They are dumb, and they if you just have a conversation with them, you'll find that out really quickly. So it is an absolute, I mean, colossal of a goddamn failure, man. This is crazy.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing, man.
It is.
To put this, a little bit further, the idea of to kind of further your point, Ripa, just the idea that if we're going to say, okay, we're going to spend another 50 million of development time put into this. I mean, you're going to have to put in addition to the 200, 300, $400 million, whatever. Like, there was the idea that there was zero path back is probably the most fascinating thing associated with this. And yes, you're right, Ripa. This comes back to something that has been talked about extensively over the last, 6 weeks or so, is this toxic positivity aspect of it. The idea that, everything's great. Everything's wonderful. How does this character look? Oh, it's great. How does this look? What would you think about adding pronouns to the game? Sure. Why not? What do you think about adding, a vaguely androgynous robot like everything is, yes, this is awesome. You get in these bubbles, these companies get in these bubbles, and they don't. And when somebody says no, they're ushered out. And this goes back to the activism. It's more than just the SJW aspect of it, the activism of the positivity of they don't want to leave their bubble. We just talked about like kind of funny games. Like they refuse to leave their bubble. It's in the media, it's in the development, it's all across the board in the industry.
There's zero critical thinking involved.
There's also two more things to add to this. Is one, this particular studio, which was brand new and had no IP development prior to this, they were awarded every single luxury and privilege that any single studio could ever be given in the gaming industry. Not only were they purchased by the biggest name and the publisher, but they were constantly advertised. The publisher bullied their other studios that had nothing to do with FPS to get them to praise them and talk about them. They had Sony support that they could have asked for, and they got this, and they did this poorly. This is an embarrassment. This is literally every single person who worked on this should never hold another job in any form of tech again. You don't get another choice. You don't get another chance. This is $400 million supposedly down the drain. This is a colossal failure like it has never been seen before.
And it reminds me, like, and this isn't, they're not exactly the same, but it's similar to something like Anthem, where Anthem came out, although Anthem was popular when it first came out, but the developers kept promising they were going to fix it. They kept promising they were going to fix it. And the studio said, we're not going to fix it. We're not doing anything with this. We're just shutting it down. We watch games like that, you know, but for them to do it this quickly, you know, like Savvy's saying, like other studios have had the benefit of saying, oh, well, we released a hit game. Like BioWare could say, we released Mass Effect. Look, we have a proven track record. Maybe we make mistakes. These guys had like everything given to them and couldn't come out with a decent game. And for it to die on the vine that quickly, I think the studios just realized, you know, and then on the top of it, they got caught in the perfect wave of everything going on with, you know, these consulting firms coming in and stepping in and pushing all these agendas and stuff like that. I think studios just realized, you know what, it's just going to be better to cut our losses because they're never going to be able to write this. Everything they touch now, they'll always be reminded of Concord, because that was their first step in the industry. If this studio had a hit or a couple hits under their belt, and then they said, hey, we're making this game, it didn't work well, but we can make good games, then maybe they stick around a little bit longer. But it's nuts, man.
Did you see their actual statement from their Twitter?
No, what did they say?
The link.
You dropped the link in the chat?
Yeah, the private chat.
Okay.
Like their actual statement is embarrassing, and it actually makes me upset because these people are clueless. They do not deserve this chance, and they do not deserve another chance. And I seldom say something like that.
Well, let's see.
Let's
read it off. Yeah.
Here we go. So Firewalk is signing off one last time. Firewalk began with an idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience, along the way we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new setup into a team during a global pandemic. It's always about COVID. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was very small for its first couple of years, only entering full production in 2022. Build a new customized next-gen FPS engine in Unreal 4 to 5, delivering top-tier gameplay. This is like jerking themselves off, my God. Yes. Delivering top-tier gameplay, feel beautiful worlds, and a performant 60 FPS technical experience on a stable and scalable backend on PS5 and PC to hundreds of thousands of players in our beta.
The game didn't work on PC, by the way.
Good. Like, this is just so stupid. Manage an acquisition integration while readying technical and preliminary test, and ultimately ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players, even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market.
If it was a great experience, it wouldn't have down in 10 days.
Exactly. Yeah. No fucking body played this shit.
That's just markets. People need to understand that. Like, we could, if all of us thought this was shit, but the market said otherwise, then that's just a fact. The market that they would have won out. That's not what we're dealing with here.
We took some risks along the way, marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters. And although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as well as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. The talent at Firewalk and the level of individual craft is truly world-class, and the teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to the recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries. And thank you to all of the very many teams, partners, and fans who supported us along the way. No fucking body supported you.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Hang on, let's see Savvy's response. If you read this, Savvy, you read your own response. Go for it.
If you get shut down after hundreds of millions of dollars and being awarded every privilege the gaming industry can give, including Sony bullying their other studios to tweet about you, you didn't achieve anything but irreparable failure. Thanks for wasting everyone's time. I hope it was worth it.
Look at this response. What a rude. What a rude what? Say it.
Then he
Call
says,
her
I
a
hope
cunt.
you family.
Call her a cunt. Let's go. Do it.
Cunt.
All right, go ahead, Ben. You had something to say.
I just had a question. So, and Savvy might know this because you've looked into the game quite a bit. So they mentioned hundreds of thousands of people that played their beta, right? Betas are ideally for getting feedback from said people
they ignored
to
it.
fix the game, right?
Yeah, they straight up ignored it. They said that they were just gonna disregard it and launch the game.
So
as
what
well.
do they expect to happen at that point? If you're just going to ignore feedback from hundreds of thousands of fans, do you really
not
ever
hundreds.
expect
So
your game to be a success?
No, so the game barely had, I think the beta barely had 2,000 people who checked it out on the opening day, and then it went down from there, and I think 2,000 is being generous.
So not hundreds of thousands like they said?
No. No. So 200s of thousands. Yeah, I don't know. The way that they phrased that is actually completely wrong. There was not that, barely even 10,000 may be generous. Maybe very generous. 10,000 may be the most delusional number that could be thrown out for these people. These people misrepresent everything intentionally. The individual who is leading the team preferred to be called professor. I think this is that studio. Even though the person doesn't even have a college degree, I don't fucking know. They're just a bunch of incompetent retards.
Slurs.
It's
But
weird because over on the Steam numbers here, it peaked at. Oh, sorry, Beardo, that you don't know anything about.
Didn't it
this.
peak at like 400 people or something?
You're not autistic enough to do a deep dive into a company that sucks ass and siphons time and millions of dollars from the industry. Do you know what really pisses me off? No, this is what pisses me off about Firewalk Studio.
That's
it
fine.
is the fact that
Who
other studios
fucking
were
cares?
completely
Let
overlooked.
the game fucking die. Let it die. Let them go fucking under.
Dead,
$400 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Wasted.
It's
Do
been
you know
dead.
How many
It's been
studios
dead.
Could be
Let them
funded with that.
But the point is, this is an unprecedented happening in the gaming industry. Studios don't just do this.
No, they
It's
don't.
important to the current landscape of gaming that a studio shuttered a game after 10 days and then shut the fucking studio down. That's
So
a big
ultimately,
deal.
We've seen it. We've seen it happen. The Forspoken studio. We were talking about Forspoken. Hold on.
Not on this
they
level.
didn't fail this
Okay.
badly.
No.
Let Beardo talk.
All these studios who put out these shit games, they wind up shutting down. Forspoken, that studio shut down. We've seen the Gollum game. That studio fucking shut down. They put out an apology. The developer put out, no, it wasn't the developer, it was the publisher who put out an apology, an AI written apology with misspellings. They didn't spell Middle Earth correctly. I don't know what it was, that they had mispronunciations within Lord of the Rings, spelled incorrect. These people do not fucking care. They do not fucking
Does this have anything
care.
to do with you being a Sony fanboy?
A Sony fanboy.
There's
I
another
play on
interesting
PC.
element to this.
Anyways. Yes, these studios, they put out shit fucking games. They're trying to be fucking activists, and they fucking get shut down. Okay, I'm interested in what you guys are talking about, but it's like we've seen this time and time again. And here's the thing: I think finally now we're starting to see the tide turn. We're seeing the tide turn. Our voices are being heard,
and that's why we need to pounce.
For that.
But that's why we need to pounce on stories like this.
100%. 100%. 100%. And
If
that's
it's
why
100%, then why are you telling us to not talk about it?
But you know,
I
that
didn't
there's-
say don't talk about it. I didn't say don't talk about it. I'm saying like this is fucking dead. Is
Let
dead.
it die.
Independent. Let it die. Independent creators, Epicverse, Ripaverse,
Let it die.
all these independent video game developers. That's why these guys, these smaller studios, looking at Stellar Blade, Black Myth Wukong, that's why they are fucking succeeding. And these guys who get a whole bunch of benefits from BlackRock and Vanguard, and they get fucking millions of fucking dollars to fucking fund these games, and they're fucking dying. Good riddance. Fuck them.
But you know that there's just going to be another studio that has the exact same thing happen to it. Like, I mean, they haven't
Sure.
learned their lesson yet. I mean, when are they really going to learn
The
it?
issue with that is the tide is not turning.
That's
the
what I'm
only
saying.
way
The tide
that it
is
will
turning.
happen. There
The
are
tide
two
is
things that
turning.
There are
It
two
is.
things that need to happen. It needs the way that investor scores are calculated needs to be completely disregarded, and we need to get it removed from government benefits. Otherwise, it will not change. The most recent corporate report put out by Sony 3 different times across 3 different medias states that it will continue to use its IP to promote diversity, inclusion, and equity.
And that's why you vote for Donald Trump.
Well, he's right. He's because Elon
Yes.
wants to cut $2 trillion
The
So, I mean,
of government
grab the Trump-
spending.
Ultimately,
just
at
play
the
the
end,
Trump card.
ultimately,
He's
at the-
right.
at
True.
the-
He's right.
It's
He's
true.
right. He's right. He's right.
ultimately, at the end of the day, they're just going to use this as a tax write-off, and then
Yes.
that's it.
Doge. We need the Department of Government Efficiency from Elon fucking Musk. And that
I
cuts
just-
out all of that. Go ahead, Craig.
Just going back to their statement, the idea of like the sheer gaslighting. You pulled up my screen right there. Hundreds of thousands of players during our beta.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
really?
2000.
The data's right there. You can literally see it. You had
But-
you had dozens of players playing your
But
game.
you know, the people that are going to be all sad about this post, they don't care enough to go do that research, though. Like, they don't care
even
about
just
that,
go
so
look
they're
at the
going to
post
believe
support.
that.
Go look at how many people have liked the post.
That's
Not
what
even
I
a
mean.
fraction of that purchased the game, which is
That's what I
how
mean.
it fell off.
So to play devil's advocate, to agree with what Savvy's saying, because she does have a point in all this. Video games, we've said this before, so sorry if I'm beating a dead horse here. Video games take really long to fucking develop nowadays. With all the technology and the high tech, it takes about 5 to 7 years to develop a AAA fucking game. We're
Sorry,
still
go on.
about 4 to 6 years away from seeing a true fucking change, because every game that's in development right now, they're not backtracking. They're going to lose fucking money if they try to change dialogue, to change the company, to change the employees, to change everything. If they're going to try to backtrack with what's going on, they're like, there's been a momentum shift here, we need to change. It's not going to fucking happen. We're still several fucking years away from seeing a true change here, because that's how long video games take to develop now. We will see it. I think the tide is turning, but we are still several years away from it, because there's so much money invested.
This is the key.
But we set up Doge.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's direct taxation or all government spending, it's either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation. Your money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
Doge, baby. Let's
Good.
fucking go. And somebody said Trump can't fix everything. You're right. But Trump and RFK and Elon Musk and JD Vance and Vivek and Tucker Carlson and the list goes on can, because the MAGA
Right.
Avengers are walking into the White House in 6 days or 7 days. So that's true. Trump can't do it all himself, but the team he has, Damn sure can. Diz the Jizzbot, Diz the Jizz 69. And wasn't it Diz the Jizzbot?
It was
with
Diz the
20
Jizzbot. Yeah.
gifted memberships.
Come
Thank you.
on!
And we've got Tonberry Masta with 50.
A 50!
And says nothing.
Nothing.
And of course, he don't miss, ladies and gentlemen. Alec Baldwin's finger for 50.
A 50!
Legend.
And then we've got Hayden on topic with what we're talking about. Go ahead, Beardo. 50 from Hayden.
Attaboy, Hayden. The problem with the shutdown of Concord is those same people will be dispersed to other companies. The tide is not turning inside of these companies. Bridge is in action every time a company shuts down. Do not be lulled into thinking we are winning.
Well, exactly. It's just
And that
gonna
was the
keep
point that I was
happening.
trying to make. And so while Beardo was playing apparently devil's advocate,
He was mad
despite
at
us
you.
agreeing on this,
I agree with you. The tide is turning, but it's
You
going to
want
be
devil's
time.
advocate
It's going to
to
be
yourself.
time until we see it turn.
well, that was the whole point that I was getting at when I started going off about them, because these people have connections that
I agree
have
with
looked
you
into
while not
as much
agreeing
as
with
you
you at
love
the same
hearing
time.
about my research.
Well,
That shows that they will just go somewhere else.
There's a lot of things that have led us to where we are now, but if we don't continue to realize that, like, they're not our friends, like, these companies are not our friends, they're full of people that are not, they're never going to be our friends. So, like, I can sit here and I can tell you, I'm enjoying playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 right now, and I am. Does that mean that the people at Activision are my friends now? Fuck no. They're full of they're a bunch of piece of shit motherfuckers at these companies. And that's why, being honest about how we feel about things is truly, that's all we have to be. So you have things like, and we haven't talked about it much more, but a lot lately, and we need to start talking about it more, but getting people opinions out there, like the site Criticlist, for instance. Criticlist, the Rotten Tomatoes alternative that's out there, where you can go over there. There's no bullshit there. It's people's opinions. That's it. And they give, like, if a movie has a political bias, it's over there. Like, it breaks down like, hey, and it's just individual people. Does this movie have a political bias? Little things like that. I'd love to have gaming stuff over there as well. And, different platform, like, I know TV and movies are over there now, but it'd be nice if we get video games over there. And but messaging and telling people what's going on, don't rely on shit like Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is a garbage site. I know we reference it a lot. And if you don't know, like, mods can drop the link to Criticlist if they want, but essentially it's they have a great app as well. I've talked about them in the past. We've had Blaine on before, great guy.